Okay, hello everybody and welcome to That's Football. I'm Mark Goldbridge and this is your Saturday Night Live football in the Premier League. Live watch along, Aston Villa versus Newcastle. Judgment day for Aston Villa. They've had a great time in the Champions League, but their only chance of getting back into the Champions League is by winning this game tonight. Man City have won, Newcastle are in third. It's hotting up. That's what it's all about in the Premier League this weekend. Forest go to Spurs on Monday night. Chelsea play tomorrow. Villa on a very, very good run in the Premier League at the moment. Did you know that actually Aston Villa have won their last 4 Premier League games in a row? If they win today, they're going for 5 in a row. But hello, Newcastle, we've already done it. We've won 5 in a row. Man City have won 3 of their last 5 and are unbeaten in their last 5 as well. It's an incredible set of fixtures as these teams start to panic about the reality of missing out on Champions League football. So very, very interesting game for you this evening. Hope you're all doing very, very well. Looking forward to it. Happy Easter, everybody, as well. I'm feeling a little bit... Oh, I don't eat a lot of, I don't know about you, but I don't really eat a lot of sugary stuff. I don't think it's that good for me, but I really like it. And I had the Roundtree's Easter egg I had on there. I basically ate half of it this afternoon watching Greece, and I feel a little bit like on a, I feel a bit like, I probably should, maybe, I don't know. I feel a bit like, when the downer from having loads of sugar. I haven't had my dinner yet, Ahmed. Hope you're doing well. If it's the Villa that turned up against PSG, they're winning this. And let's not forget, Newcastle have scored 9 in their last 2 games. So I think we're in for a very interesting game. What I would say is that if Villa lose this today, I don't see them getting top 4. They've got to go to Man City on Tuesday as well. Newcastle can afford to lose. They'd still be 2 points ahead of Aston Villa. So they're in a strong position. But yeah, it's certainly very, very interesting in the game tonight, and we're very excited about it. We're sponsored by Manscaped, by the way. Trim the grass to make the yard look bigger. And you can get 20% off exclusively with the code FOOTY. That's all your male grooming needs, which I'll go through in a moment, but links in the description, and you get free worldwide shipping with the code FOOTY and 20% off. But we will come back to that in a moment because I just want to go through the team news, but big up to Manscaped. I'll give you a little bit more detail on that in a moment as well. But let's have a look at the team news on the screen for you, because this is the team news, and this is how Aston Villa are lining up today. As you can see, they've gone with Martinez, Cash, Mings, Konza, Maatsen, Kamara, Tielemans, Asensio, Rodgers, McGinn and Watkins. So a few changes there. Marcus Rashford's on the bench, Ramsey's on the bench, Onana's on the bench. Malen, who couldn't play in the Champions League, also on the bench. I think he's been a bit unlucky. Newcastle, Pope, Trippier, Schär, Byrne, Livramento, Bruno G, Tamale, Joel Linton, Jacob Murphy, Isak and Barnes. Pretty much their standard 11 at the moment, and it's a very good 11. And they are doing very, very well at the moment, as we know. But I think the most interesting thing to take a look at is the league table as it stands now. We've had some interesting results today. I feel I've done quite well, actually. I do win, lose or draw with Robbie, and I had a 7-point lead and I got it down to 5. I think I'm doing all right. I definitely said that Brentford would win, and they did. And I definitely said that City would win, and they did. I just can't remember if he said... I think he said Bournemouth would beat Palace, and I said Palace would beat Bournemouth. So a draw, he doesn't get anything for that. And we both said West Ham would win. So I think, and I don't know whether, I think he went with the Villa win, didn't he, in this actually? So did I. But I mean, I've still clawed 2 points back by the look of it. So yeah, I think I'm doing all right. I definitely did say Brentford would win and City would win, and he didn't. So I'm pretty sure I've made 2 points on it. Right, so that's how the league table looks anyway. Back to reality. So Villa at the moment, 54 points in 7th place. How are Brentford not in the top 10 when they've just bloody won? I don't get it. Brentford have got 46 points. Okay. All right, they must have been doing badly recently. Oh, they hadn't won in 4. Okay, that's why. I get mixed up with Brentford. Brighton haven't won a game in 5. I've told... Look, don't clip me up because no one will watch it. No one cares. But I've been saying to you all season on this channel, Brighton, that coach has underachieved with that team. Like, maybe Brighton are happy with 48 points and 10th place, but that squad, when you're looking at what the likes of Bournemouth have done and what the likes of Forest have done, I think they've got a better squad than both, and they're below them. I think Brighton could have done a lot better. Terrible run of fixtures at the moment, results. But look, let's look at the league table. Villa have got 54. Chelsea got 54. Forest could be slipping out. I think Chelsea and Villa's best chance is Forest slipping out. Man City, Newcastle have got serious at the right time. Now, Villa win today would be a point behind Man City. Then they play Man City on Tuesday. So it's 2 big games for Aston Villa. They need to win both, really. And if they do, I think they're right back in the Champions League mix. It would be such a shame. Newcastle looking to get back in there after their European adventures a couple of seasons ago. But Aston Villa have had a great time in there. They'd love to be in there. I mean, we could be conquering the Champions League next season when you think about it, with 5 going into it this year. Also, we could hopefully have probably an all-English final, hopefully. That would put 6 English teams in the Champions League next year, which would be great. Hopefully Manchester United. I've not been live on here actually since then, have I? Can you wish happy birthday to my nephew Salik Amani? Sweet 16 today. Said Thursday game was the best of his life and shares his birthday with Kobbie Mainoo, says Kazim. There you go. Happy birthday, pal. Hope you're doing well. United lineup still behind the graphic. All right. It's not. There's only one player there. Just Rasmus, that was it. Thank you for letting me know, Harry Wood. I know some people do get a little bit of OCD. So yeah, look, let me get a little bit of a poll going. We like to be interactive on here. So results poll. You've got 8 minutes to get involved in this. Villa win, draw, or Newcastle win. I'm going to go with the Villa win because I think they have to win. And actually, as much as I respect what Newcastle have done, they've been absolutely incredible. 5 wins in a row in the Premier League. They probably are. They're going to be very, very difficult to beat. I just think Villa have to win. I think Villa absolutely have to win. And it will be very interesting for the Champions League top 5 if that happens. Of course, Chelsea tomorrow, they're sort of in a precarious position because they go to Fulham tomorrow. That could be very interesting. Obviously, Spurs play Forest on Monday night. We'll be live for that one. And that's going to be very interesting as well because Forest have started to fall. And I think this stat is right. They've been in the top 5. In fact, they've probably been in the top 3 since sort of like the autumn. So to drop out at the end would be incredible. Jay says, this week has been incredible. That United win just got a promotion with an incredible pay rise. And in 5 days will be my 6 years with the United stand with the Manchester Derby Watchalong. All love, Mark. Jace, thank you very much for your super chat. Really appreciate it. It's been an amazing week. I've spoke a lot about the United stand, but at Arsenal, Real Madrid Watchalong on Wednesday was, I think we had like 700,000 people who watched it. And I'm very proud of the United stand. I mean, we've had an amazing week, positivity. But this is a different community. This is for everybody. And we're a lot younger than United stands. And what are we at? 1.2 million subscribers, loads of people tuning in. So I'm very proud of this community as well. And yeah, this is my bread and butter channel, really. This is the channel where I just get to sit back and enjoy football. I massively enjoyed Thursday, and nothing can ever compare to it when it's your own club. But bloody hell did we go through the cycle of emotions. But I've thoroughly enjoyed some of the football we've watched on here recently. The Champions League has been incredible, and I think the race for top 5. I was talking to somebody the other day, and they were saying, "Oh, Premier League's a bit boring because you've got the title's basically won and relegation doesn't exist." But I think with with what's happened in the Champions League this week, it really does emphasise how important this race for top 5 is. And I think some people would look at it and go, "Oh, it's not that important," but I think it really is. I think it really is because the Champions League has just been so fantastic. And for clubs like Villa and Newcastle and Chelsea and Forest, obviously I think Arsenal, Man City, Liverpool, they expect to be in it. But for those clubs, if they can join that party, it would be great. These are the results. They're not the results from this week. God knows what they are. Get them off. Sorry, I apologise about that. I thought it updated itself. Get them get that out. Let me go to there. Okay. Players are in the tunnel. Let me just remind you, by the way, that we're sponsored by Manscaped. You don't want to be missing out on this stuff. Trim the grass to make the yard look bigger with the lawn mower, which is this one down there, trusted by millions of men worldwide. But we've also got the weed whacker for up your nose. You've got the handyman, which is fully charged, and you can just use that when you're out and about. That'll clean shave you or tidy you up wherever you want. Lovely stuff. And also, we've got the best of the best, I think, the beard trimmer. 11. Sorry, I say 11. I think it's got... How many has it got? I think it's got about 19 different lengths on it that you can do. I like a bit of stubble. I actually need to shave for tomorrow, actually. It is Easter Sunday after course. All those products delivered to your door for free delivery, and then 20% off. So check it out with Manscaped. Absolutely fantastic quality male grooming products delivered to your door. Use the code FOOTY, scan the QR code, or go through the link in the description, and that can be yours delivered to your door with 20% off with the code FOOTY. Big shout out to Manscaped as always. And thank you everybody who's tuning in. Make sure you share the video. Do you think Arsenal are in a top 4 race, says Ali? Absolutely not. Arsenal are absolutely safe. I'd expect Arsenal to win their next 2 games. Yeah, they've got Palace on Wednesday, haven't they, who will be one eye on the FA Cup semi-finals next weekend, of course. Must remind ourselves of that. It's FA Cup weekend next weekend. We will be covering both of those games for you. Saturday, the 26th of April, you've got Crystal Palace against Aston Villa at 5:15. And then Sunday, the 27th of April, you've got Forest against Man City at 4:30. So 2 FA Cup semi-finals next weekend. Premier League-wise next weekend, Chelsea host Everton. And anybody else in the top 4 race, really? No, because really, Man City... Yeah, that's the only one, isn't it, really? Oh, Newcastle home to Ipswich. I mean, you couldn't get much better than that. Jaden, welcome to Members Club. Thank you very much for that. Thanks for the early super chats that have come in as well. Just realised I've got to sort out the timer, which will be red, because the last watch along I did was, of course, United. So I just need to change that. There we go. And that. There we go. Lovely stuff. And we are about ready to go. Going to be very interesting, though. I think Newcastle have got a fantastic... I think Newcastle are in fantastic form. I think Aston Villa have got a fantastic squad. But that midfield 3 of Tonali, Bruno G and Joel Linton, well, I tell you, very, very interesting. Have you recovered from Thursday? Look, I had a bottle of red wine. This is going to be my tactic for all Europa League lineups now. I'm going to have a bottle of red ready to go. I'll be honest, I poured myself a substantial glass of red on Thursday night, and in the second half, I still had a fair bit left. I was just taking sips. I was fine. Extra time, I think I'd done 3/4 of the bottle, and then I just stayed up afterwards and finished it. So, you know, it just shows you the drinking increased as the stress went up. Yeah, I felt okay yesterday, just a little bit tired, but... yeah, it was interesting. Nice to see Ollie Watkins back up front for Aston Villa today. Let me just tell you what you're saying in the poll. You've got 43% going with a Newcastle win and 38% going with a Aston Villa win. And we've got 18% going with a draw. So, look, I don't disrespect that. I don't at all. I think you might be right. I think that could be... a fair conclusion, to be honest with you, that they could well be favourites to win this, Newcastle. I know they're playing away from home. Still no Eddie Howe. Thoughts with him, of course. He's had pneumonia, which is a significant illness, and hopefully he's on the road to recovery soon. The team are doing bloody fantastic this season. And Newcastle heading back to the Champions League. I think if Newcastle, I don't know whether we've got any Newcastle fans watching, but I think if Newcastle are going to go into the Champions League next season, they really would be looking to deal with it better than that season they were in it when they were gone by Christmas. You know, they really struggled, didn't they? I think the thing about Newcastle is first 11, very good, but when they pick up a few injuries, problematic. But good start here We're up and running. And talking about up and running, let's not be lazy about it. Stand up. You seen this? What you need? Can you see that? You see that spot there on my jeans? You know what that is? You know what did that? Goal! Goal, Aston Villa! Get in! What a start! Ollie Watkins, I was just talking about him. We'll come back to the mark on my jeans in a minute. Get the bloody stand-up desk quick enough. People are looking at the moves. Get up. Get up. 1-0 already. Aston Villa 1-0. And that's a dream start. What a start. 1-0 already. Barely saw it. Was too busy talking about my jeans. But that's a great, great start for Aston Villa. Ollie Watkins, well, I think it's Tonali who gets caught in the corner. Not a great clearance. Tillemans gives it to Watkins. Shoots, deflects, goal. Bit lucky. Bit lucky. Deflects off Shaw and goes into the bottom corner. But it's a dream start for Villa. Actually, I think an early goal in a game like this is really, really good. You're getting reflection, aren't you, on that one? Let's go with this one. 1-0. What a start. This is what we're here for. This is what we're here for. Distressed Wrangler Jean says, bigger United, Europa, Live, Prem, Arsenal, Champions League. Okay, well, we'll do a poll on that. We'll do a poll on that. Mark is a Villa fan, says Retro Bull. I'm not a Villa fan. I just think for the top 5 race, if I can show it you, if they've done it quick enough, for the top 5 race, Aston Villa, look, 57 points, 1 behind. That's as it stands. So if Villa win, the congestion for the top 5 race is incredible. So, yeah, let's see how it goes. But Watkins has scored already. Do you think Bodo Glimt has a chance against Spurs, says such tryhard? No. We played Bodo Glimt, United. I don't think Spurs will have much of a problem with them over 2 legs. What's best? Okay, I'm going to do this. What's best? Arsenal Champions League winners. Liverpool Prem winners. I mean, look, I don't think United's in there, but I'll put it in there because I was asked. So what's the best thing? Arsenal Champions League winners, Liverpool Prem winners, or Man United Europa League winners? Get your votes in there. Thanks everyone who's tuning in. Make sure you subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. Appreciate that. Mark, you should put on some Billy jeans, says Howder. Well, I tell you what, he says, what was that super chat? This is the poll came from Distressed Wrangler jeans. I've got Distressed Hugo Boss jeans because that stain I showed you on my jeans, like basically I'm wearing blue jeans and there's a white stain on it. And the white stain was because I was putting chlorine granules, mixing them up to put it in the hot tub. I got a little bit of splashback on my jeans. The next day, gone. It's only a little, like, it was being mixed in water and a little drop got ruined. These are just going to have to be painting jeans now. I don't even do any painting. Why are people talking about Barcelona? A little bit confused here. Are they playing? Let's have a look. PSG are beating La Havre 2-1. Germany. Spain. Barcelona 4. Celta Vigo 3. Were they losing at half-time or something? Yeah, they were 3-1 down. Oh, my God. Ollie Watkins has just hit the Denver. They're all over them at the moment. What a start by Ollie Watkins. Down this left-hand channel. Almost a carbon copy shot. Oh, I tell you what, he almost deserved that. Well, he did deserve that. It's lovely play. He looks up for it, doesn't he, Harvey Barnes? Ollie Watkins looks up for this. What a start. Channel of Shucky says thoughts on today's games. Brentford, fantastic again. I was saying, you know, Mbumo, 2 goals. I mean, he's got to be worth above £50 million. I just wonder if anyone's going to go for him. I mean, we had a lot of time with Brentford and Ivan Toney, didn't we, and talking about how great he was. I mean, Mbumo's just been brilliant this year. Surely someone's going to take a look at him. I don't know. Do you think the United Lyon match can be considered one of the best matches ever, says Marcus? I don't think from a quality point. I mean, I'd love to know what the neutral thought, actually. As a Man United fan, it was absolutely incredible and will go down as one of the most memorable games we've ever played. I don't know about the general quality of the game, but I think from it's just incredible. I'd love to know what the neutral thought, really. How fast was the Villa goal? Literally in the first minute, mate. Brilliant start. There. So, just on the poll we had, what's best? Arsenal winning the Champions League, Liverpool winning the Premier League, or United winning the Europa League? Unfortunately for Liverpool, you're in third place with 25%. United are second with 32%, and Arsenal with 43% if they win the Champions League. I do sort of feel that if Liverpool were in a title race and winning and they hadn't won the title yet, and they win it in May, I think people would be saying Liverpool. I think the only problem with Liverpool is that everybody knows they're winning the Premier League and have done for a long time. And, you know, that's the reason Liverpool aren't getting much respect. Because winning the Premier League is incredible. I'd take the Premier League over the Europa League any day of the week. And I'd certainly take the Premier League over the Champions League at the moment as a Man United fan. However, for Arsenal, I think they'd take the Champions League over the Premier League, wouldn't you? Because you've never won the Champions League. Arsenal, equivalent of Susan Boyle winning Miss World, says Robert McCormack. Look, really good tempo to this game. They've started off really well, though, Villa. I think, you know what he's done, Emery? He said we need to start off like we did against PSG, like we finished against PSG. We need to be really energetic. Thanks for your super chat, Robert McCormack and Marcus Christiansen. I'm really struggling with my left hip the last couple of weeks. I think it's old age. I really don't want a hip replacement. Oh, God. Hip pain is really bad. It was a great comeback, but nothing beats Wednesday coming back against Peterborough, says Penelope Baxter. It's all relative, mate. It's all relative. Silimani says, United Lyon was a great game, but there was self-inflicted wounds on both sides. I'm just going to run that poll. Actually, I was asked to do this. Who goes through? Arsenal or PSG? I've spelt that wrong. Some good polls coming in here. So watch I tell you what, you know what I like about Easter? Because it's a long weekend, you really do get at least 2 good movie nights. And I said to Mrs. Goldbridge last night, I feel like watching something a little bit classic, you know, an older type movie. So we watched The Firm, which sounds like it's a porno, which, you know, but it wasn't. It's a John Grisham novel, lawyer novel, with Tom Cruise in it and Gene Hackman. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I haven't probably watched it in about 30 years. Really enjoyed it. And I tell you what film I always think of at Easter: Shrek and Grease, which I watched this afternoon. Real life, you know, like The Great Escape and Sound of Music are like Christmas films, even though they're not Christmas films. Like I feel like Shrek and Grease, you know, the one with John Travolta and Sandy Newton-John or whatever her name was. I feel like that's a bit of an Easter film. Oh, that's late on Rodgers. He's played on. McGinn. I'll tell you what, it's a tasty game out there at the moment. I wonder if there should have been a yellow card there on the foul on Rodgers by Dan Burn. Olivia Newton-John, sorry, and rest in peace. Not recently, but is dead. I think it was a couple of years ago. Doesn't make it any less sad, but I'm just saying it's not today. I would say no because of the quality of football, says Kenneth. I don't know what he's saying no to. I move on quick, mate, so I don't know what you're saying no to. Asensio's just clashed with Pope here, so we're just getting a bit of treatment. Where's the Malbec, says Jason. I'm not on the red wine tonight. I might have red wine tomorrow, but I've just gone and got a can from the garage. A can of beer, not a can of bloody car oil or anything like that. So yeah, I'll probably just have a can of lager tonight, maybe a few, but you know. Trouble is, if I open a bottle of red, and it tastes nice, it will turn into 2 or 3 glasses, and I don't want to be feeling like that tomorrow. I've seen The Passion of the Christ, Carl. I think I went to watch it in the cinema when it came out years ago. It is a tough watch. Really high intensity game, this one. Enjoying it thus far. United Leon, I meant, says Kenneth. Interestingly, Arsenal PSG at the moment, 55% are saying that PSG will win. I don't know. I'm just looking forward to it. Thoroughly enjoying the... I don't know what I think about the Champions League stage. I think it'll be better if Man United are in it next year, but the knockout stage is always the best bit, really. Marcus Christiansen says, do a poll, Man United Lyon 2025 or Man United versus Bayern 1999. Oh, no, I'm not doing a poll for that. Absolutely not. I can't. That's just ridiculous, mate. You can't do a poll on that. Right, Villa wants a red card here. It's a yellow card for Shaw. Let me have a quick look. In behind. I mean, how is he not last man? How is Shaw not last man there? Maybe the ball's never getting there. I don't know. I think maybe the ball isn't going to get there, but I don't know that that is a consideration. Are they going to review it? I think maybe Pope is going to get there, and that's why not. But maybe it's the right decision, to be fair. If that was an Arsenal defender, it's going to be a red, says Raheem. KN29 says, to be fair, Watkins was never going to get there, so yellow is fair. What's John McGinn doing here, standing on the line? Bit weird. You don't see this very often. Matty Cash. Corner. Casper said Saliba got a red for that at Bournemouth. Yeah, but I think the Bournemouth player was definitely getting on the end of it, wasn't he? Whereas I think with this one, probably not. G-Man says, what a game this is so far. Yeah, it's been very, very good. Very good start. Thanks everyone who's tuning in. Nearly got 10,000 watching. Make sure you share the video. I feel like Villa need to get the second goal. They're well on top. Newcastle have been a bit disappointing so far. Another corner here. Kamara with the shot, deflects off Joel Linton's knee. The Rago is listening in while doing the washing. What is your best Premier League 11 ever? That's like I mean, Arslan, I wouldn't be able to answer that one quickly anyway, because I think that's a really good video idea. I mean, look, I genuinely, I've got a pen and paper here, but you know, I can think of some of the debates straight away. Who the goalkeeper would be? You know, who would you go for in goal? Petr Cech, Peter Schmeichel, Alisson. You know, Seaman was good at the start. Then you've got your centre backs, modern day Van Dijk, John Terry, Nemanja Vidic. I'm sure Rio Ferdinand had put himself forward. Tony Adams, some really good centre backs. I mean, even up front, would you play a front two and go Shearer and Henry? What would you do with Ronaldo? Mo Salah. Midfield, Roy Keane, Patrick Vieira. Would you put Rodri in there? I think the hardest thing is, can we settle on somebody that definitely gets in there? Probably Ashley Cole at left back. But then again, I feel Dennis Irwin is massively underrated. What about Kante? So yeah, I think it's a cracking video, but it's so subjective. And that's the great thing about the Premier League, that it is so subjective. I think Thierry Henry would probably be a guarantee. I agree with Man Plays, but Alan Shearer is the all-time top goal scorer. But I think, you know what I would say to Shearer, and I'd say it to his face if he dared do an interview at Baller League. I'd say, you might be the top goal scorer, but how much of that? What a set! Goal! 1-1. Shaw, should he been on the pitch? Typical. Absolutely typical. Shaw scores. Should he even be on the pitch? I feel bad for Villa fans because that always happens. Always happens. You know, whether it's contentious or not, it's Shaw who scores. And potentially he could have been sent off. I don't think there's any offside here. Let's have a look. Nah, it's miles on. It's a lot. I tell you what, it's a good. There's not a lot Martinez can do, but it's a lovely bit of play by Harvey Barnes. The cross is fantastic, and you've just got to say, respect to Newcastle. They're just so good at the moment. And I did say that. I felt Villa needed that second goal because they started off really well. 1-1 now. What a game we've got. Absolutely fantastic. Fantastic game. And a big goal for them. Look, it's a contentious thing. PSG 55% against Arsenal, but I should have done this quicker. Let me just do this. Should Shaw? Won't matter. Oh, what a miss! What a miss! Should have been 2-1 to Villa. And Asensio scored a lot of goals, but missed 2 penalties last week, and he's missed a bloody sitter here. Cut back. He's got to score that. I mean, there's Newcastle players in the way, but that's not why it doesn't go in. It's just a bad connection. Yeah, really bad. What's the greatest game you've ever seen, says Jason Marsh? I'll never see a better game than United Bayern Munich. Nothing will ever come close in the 99 final. It just can't. It's a boring answer, but if you were a United fan who was alive and you watched it, nothing will ever come close to that. It can't. What's the best game I've ever watched that wasn't a Man United game? That's a good question. I really liked Spain-Portugal in the group stage when it was 3-3 that time. I think De Gea was in goal for Spain and Ronaldo was playing for Portugal. That was a good game. But the best game I've seen that had, genuine jeopardy in it would be... I don't know, I don't know. I'm trying to think. I'll have to come back to that one. Barca comeback versus PSG, says Luna Sky. Robert McCormack says you can see why Gordon is behind Barnes right now. Yeah, I'd forgotten about that. Sati says, thanks for the super chat. He says, I think City will get top 4. Remaining fixtures, Chelsea, Villa, Newcastle and Forest are tough, with most playing United, so can't cheer for them. If that was Arsenal City, they would have been given a red, says the HPN. Thank you very much for that, HPN. Yeah, I think Man City will do it now. I can't see Man City not getting Champions League football, but that's, you know, that's I don't even include Man City in the race for top 5 because there's no drama with that. Man City should be walking top 5 in the Premier League. They should be in the top 5. Like, they shouldn't be in any danger. I know they were for a little bit, but they spent, you know, like, let's not forget, Man City won the league last season, and then they spent £150 million in January. Not getting top 5 isn't going to be a surprise, is it? Like, they definitely should get it. But this is a great game here now. France versus Argentina World Cup, says Suleimani. And Shriman says, hi Mark, what do cows drink? Water. That's what I would say. I know you thought I was going to say milk, but I'm switched on. They don't drink milk. I've been through plenty of cow fields in my day. Grew up in the country, you know, so they don't have troughs full of milk. What a cross by Harvey Barnes. Interestingly, on the red card that wasn't given for Shah, 56% say it should have been and 44% say it shouldn't have been. So, to be fair, it's one of those, isn't it? It's very close, and therefore, I think there's an argument either way, and the decision could have gone either way. So we can't moan too much that it wasn't given, although you can moan if you're a Villa fan because it could have been given. You know, it's just one of those. Newcastle got the tails up now, though. Villa are going to have to go again. Robert Fisher, welcome to the Members Club. Thank you very much. Clearly a Villa fan with your badge. I'll tell you what, though. Who was the... I'm a little bit surprised that there hasn't been more yellow cards. I think the only yellow card we've seen is for Shah, and there has been some more tasty tackles than that. I mean, there was one on Morgan Rogers. I'm stunned we didn't get a yellow card for that. Sarika forgot to bench boost this week in FPL. Fair play for still playing it, mate. I stopped in September. Are you going to watch WrestleMania? Says Darth Vader. I won't watch it live. We'll get up and watch it tomorrow morning. There's only 2 I'm really interested in. Triple threat tonight, and then obviously the Cena one tomorrow night. Man United watch along tomorrow, Dale. And then Spurs Forest on Monday. And then Villa Man City on Tuesday. Although if Villa don't win this, as you can see from the league table, they're not out of it yet, but they put a lot of pressure on themselves at the Etihad. Nice ball into Watkins. Got to use cash. Check them out for money laundering if you've got to use cash. If you know, you know. Hi, Mark. Who's your favourite United striker since our struggles began? Says Fart Smeller or Smart Fella. Well, our troubles began when Sir Alex left, so I'd probably... Well, Ronaldo, isn't it? I'd say Ronaldo and then Cavani. I mean, he was just a quality. Zlatan was good. I mean, we definitely those 3. That lad has us as I take it you're not going to be doing any Liverpool watch-alongs anymore. Look, we did quite a lot of Liverpool watch-alongs this season, certainly in the Premier League and in the Champions League. But look, Liverpool fixtures are crap as well at the moment. Like, if Liverpool were playing, I'll probably do Liverpool-Arsenal in May. It's a shame when it is, but I probably will do Liverpool-Arsenal because it'll be an interesting game. But when there's no jeopardy in a game, it can become a little bit boring. That's why I never get excited. You know when the fixtures come out in June and people will go, "Oh, Liverpool against Arsenal in Bruno G's got to be booked now." How are you not booking him? He's done about 3 fouls. This ref is rubbish. He's absolutely rubbish. I mean, Bruno Guimaraes has done 2 yellow card fouls in the last 5 minutes and he's not been booked. Yeah, we'll do Forest Spurs on Monday, Liam. But this pisses me off with the officiating in the Premier League because, if that was Casemiro, he'd definitely have a yellow for the first one. Oh, post! Watkins again. Is it the bar? Is it the post? Wouldn't believe it. Bit unlucky for Villa so far, to be fair. Mings on the back post. Doesn't even win it. Asensio. And Newcastle clear it. Good game. It's flown by this first half an hour. Joy says it's a damn W game so far, isn't it? Really good. Really enjoying it. That Watkins header. Couldn't head it any better, really. Just hits the post. Should Shaw have been sent off? 58% say yes. Please do subscribe to the channel, by the way. Bottom right-hand corner. You're very welcome on That's Football. We are heading towards... Oh, we're not on 1.2 million subscribers, by the way. We're on 1.3. Didn't even know that. We are only 50 subscribers away from 319,000. So we're on 1.31 at the moment, but we're very close to 1.319. We're only 50 away. So please do subscribe. Get involved with the channel. Lots of people saying, are we going to do anything for the Club World Cup? I know what's going to happen. I know what's going to happen with the Club World Cup, and I know what's going to happen with all of you lot. Like, I don't really get the point of the Club World Cup when there is no Arsenal, Liverpool, or Barcelona in it. I really don't. But come the middle of June, when there's no bloody football, Muggins here is going to be waking up at 1 o'clock to watch Al Hilal play Stockport. I know I am. So... I can't sit, about a month ago, I was like, I'm definitely not doing the Club World Cup. And now, in the middle of April, I'm going, I might watch some of the Club World Cup. So, we'll have to wait and see. Goldbridge top 5 predictions, says AO. Liverpool, Arsenal, Newcastle, Man City, and it's tough. The 5th one's so tough. I mean, if Villa don't win here, I'd say they won't get it. If Forest don't win on Monday, I don't think they're going to get it. And if Chelsea don't win tomorrow, I think it's going to be... I think those 3, it's so tough. Who will do it when you look at their fixtures? Newcastle are going to get second, says Dave. They've got a good run in. Mark, are you playing FIFA soon, please? I actually played a bit of FIFA today with Seb. We were playing Rush. It's just one of them games where you can just play 5 minutes quickly against each other, can't you? But Oh, I can't believe what happened. He was Barcelona. I was Real Madrid. I was 3-0 up. I started doing skills. He got an equaliser with 9 seconds left. Went to golden goal. They throw the ball in the middle. He got it. He got there with Lewandowski before I got there with Vinicius Jr. I tried a slide tackle, missed it, and then he was up to pace, so he went past my last man and scored. I lost 4-3. He's only 8. It's embarrassing. You know it's time to go. You know it's time to go, Robbie, isn't it? It's time to go when that happens. Where's Agony Bridge, says Rub. Hey, Agony Bridge is always here. If you need life advice, I'm here. Get involved. Sponsored by Manscaped. Trim the grass to make the yard look bigger. Mate, you know what it is? You're cruising at 3-0, and I think a little bit of, you know, parenthood came in where I was like, I've got to let him score a goal, and then he legitimately scored another goal, and then I was like, it's in my head now, and I couldn't go up the gears again. Deserved it. Here's Watkins into the box. Good defending. Corner. Alex Roach says, was it the best ever watch-along you've ever done on United Stand the other night? No, the best watch-along I've ever done was the Europa League final when we won it against Ajax, because it was enjoyable and we won something. I think the most entertaining, it was probably I don't know how I'd describe Thursday. At the final whistle, it was incredible. The game was an absolute emotional roller coaster. I mean, there was a period in that game at 4-2, and I'm not apologising, because if any United fan wasn't thinking it, they're a bloody liar. There was a time at 4-2 where I was basically accusing players of sabotage and saying that they were losing on purpose because they know that if we go out the Europa League, we can't sell them. And I had lost it at one point, but that's the journey you go on, isn't it? You know, it's not an episode of the EastEnders. We're not bloody acting. We're not scripting it out and doing take after take after take. There's no rehearsals. It's live. So, yeah. I mean, I've watched the last 20 minutes of that watch-along about 5 times. I'll probably watch it again tonight. Not even because of the goals. It's just fascinating knowing what's going to happen, but watching somebody who doesn't know what it's going to happen, it's just incredible. Good shot by Tonali. That's going to be a corner. Early title predictions for next season, says Sims. Arsenal. You know, ask me the question, I'll give you the answer. I mean, it's ridiculous to say who's going to win the league in April. I mean, I said last year Man City, so I was wrong. But if you're asking me to say who's going to win the league next season, I would say that Arsenal will win it. Lack of threat, thought it was done. You know, lack of threat, Lacazette, lack of threat, that started on this channel. I'd forgotten about that. Somebody said it the other night. Lack of threat started on That's Football about 5 years ago. I mean, I'm not even going to claim it. It started on this channel. It might have been me saying it from a chat. I don't know, but it definitely started on here. Show is great. What made you a United fan, says Jason. My granddad, rest in peace. Thanks for the super chat, Jason. Leon Cox says, Mark, are you on the 8 p.m? Yes, 8 p.m. on the United Stand. Forest and Chelsea have been losing steam for months. One of the two will limp in. That's why only should 4 go in, says Will. Was there a worse group than England, Ireland, Holland, Egypt in Italia 90? But I really enjoyed it, mate. But I was only a kid. But I bet for people a bit older it was crap, Kenneth. Lovely play by Isaac. Oh my God. Oh, goes for a goal kick. Peter Parker says, unfortunately, you chose Elanga over Mbumo recently. Yeah, I probably did. Thanks everyone who's tuning in, by the way. We're very close to 10,000 viewers, so please share the video this Saturday night. What are you doing this Easter? 35 minutes gone here. Very good start to the game. I think Newcastle have played a very clever game away from home so far. Started off really well. Went 1-0 up in the first minute from Watkins. They've hit the bar. They've hit the post. And maybe Shaw could have been sent off. But a lovely cross by Harvey Barnes. Shaw scored and Newcastle are in the game. And obviously Villa need to win. Well, good defending there. Remember, Villa's bench is very good, though. I need to talk to you about that. So, Villa's bench, which has impressed me for weeks and can be game-changing. Nice ball here. Let's just see what happens. Morgan Rogers. Good shot, good save by Pope. So, yeah, the bench for Newcastle, comparatively to the bench for Aston Villa, goes like this. They've got Dubravka, Gordon, Kraft, Longstaff, Miley, Asula, Targay, Willock and Wilson. Villa's bench, Ross Barkley, Luca Digne, Disasi, Garcia, Mallon, Anana, Ramsey, Rashford and then Olsen. It's teeming with quality. So in the last half an hour, I expect Villa to go for this. Who would you take, Morgan Rogers or Ramsey? I think I'd take Rogers, but I do like Ramsey. If United win the treble, will that mean you retire, says Kashmir? Let's put it this way. If somebody says we're going to win the treble, but you've got to retire, would you do it? Yes. And I don't really talk about it a lot now, but probably about 3 or 4 years ago I did. I did feel like about 5 years ago that I'd probably do it for 5 more years and then stop because it's very demanding on your time. But I've got to say although Man United have been absolutely horrible, I think this channel has probably kept me sane. And the way I feel at the moment, I probably feel like I could do another 5 years. So, yeah. I think sometimes in the past I've approached the end of the season and thought, will that be it? But the way I feel at the moment, I honestly don't. I wouldn't even start. I mean, not that anyone would care, but I wouldn't even start doing it as a little bit of a teaser. A lot of it's this channel. I'm genuinely looking forward to next season. I've really enjoyed the fact that Man City have not been in a title race at all, that it's been Liverpool and Arsenal's made it interesting. I think the teams like Brighton, Bournemouth, Forest, Fulham have really enhanced the Premier League. I know they're probably not going to get into Europe, some of them, but they've really enhanced it with some of their performances. Obviously, you've got the next wave of clubs like Villa and Newcastle. I think there's a lot of interesting stories next season. I think there's so many interesting stories next season. Like Arsenal have to win the league next year, and it's all about what they do in the summer. And they might be Champions League holders, so it's not like they have to win it. Otherwise, if they win the Champions League, it's incredible. Liverpool, can they be more than one season? Man City, can they bounce back? Chelsea, after all this money, can they start to become more than a club that's just flirting around with the top 5? What can Newcastle and Villa do next year? What are Man United and Spurs going to do next year? So I think it's and they can't all do well because I've just named about 8 teams. So I think it's really interesting. Who's closer to winning the league, Villa or Newcastle? I'd say at the moment, Jack, Newcastle, because of where they are in the league. They're showing more consistency. But is that because Villa have had to deal with the Champions League as well and Newcastle haven't been in Europe? I think it's a great question. In fact, I'm going to run a poll on it. Should Shaw have been sent off 60-40 in favour of a red? Who is closer to winning the league? Get your votes in. in the live chat. Rub says, hold on a minute, Harvey Barnes down the wing. Rub says, Agony Bridge, if I get in a relationship with a rich girl, which is very much possible apparently, does this make me lazy and a bad person? I'm feeling conflicted. Why shouldn't you do it, mate? Not statistically, stereotypically, that's what the wag is, isn't it? You know, the wag is the, you know, the girl who gets with a footballer, you know, and why can't you be the hag? Whatever WAG stands for. I presume wife is W. You can be the husband. But ultimately, what would you choose to do, Rub? Would you choose to marry an average person? Notice how I didn't say looks, because we're talking about the person here. Would you choose to go with an average person who's a millionaire, or a fantastic person who is just, you know, statistically earning a national average wage? I'd go with the fantastic person. I don't think money matters. 4 minutes to go to half time. Does United 99 team compete in this current league? Yes, probably wins it, Sims. Unless you're talking about Keane and Scholes at their current age, in which case, no. Josh says, I'm going to Spain. Things to pack I wouldn't think. Plug converter. I think that's always a good one. Plug converter. I always like those things that you can take. You know, this is a bit of advice. Oh, here we go. Watkins. He's going to shoot from there. No, crap. I think this is a good bit of advice for something you should take on holiday that you will forget or not think about. You know, when you're on the beach, don't leave your phone hidden under your towel or buried in the sand. On the other hand, if you take it with you, you can't really get wet in the sea because it'll ruin it. So I think, and they're brilliant and they do work, you can buy these things that go on your arm, like Velcro, goes around your arm, put your phone in it, seal it, won't get wet, do what you like. They're brilliant. Also lube, you never know when you're going to need it. Thanks for your super chat, Josh. Okay, looks like it's going to be 1-1 at half time here. Morgan Rogers again. Look at the way he drives and Asensio's not looking. I love that about Morgan Rogers. That, for me, you can take all your bloody hipsters and their pre-recorded videos where they're doing screenshots and pinching things from other websites. But that, for me, is pure in time, non-scripted football analysis. And if you're looking at the modern game, this could be 2-1 Newcastle. Good block. If you're looking at the modern game and how to defeat the press, Morgan Rogers there, brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Picks the ball up in the midfield, goes past Tonali. Newcastle's system is out, and then he nearly gets Asensio through one-on-one, but Asensio isn't looking. But that is the way to evolve football, and that's why I like Morgan Rogers, because he takes people on from the midfield. Oh, come on, ref. That's a foul. Watkins. Penalty! 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 Oh, ref! Come on, this ref's on the bloody take. Why is he not giving it? Let's have a look. Shaw. No, not a penalty. Not a penalty. Not a penalty for me. And I tell you what, it could have been a second. Well, I don't know. His foot's out. His foot is out. He's very lucky. Shaw is very lucky there because he committed to the tackle, missed the tackle. But minimal contact. I don't think it's a penalty for me. This is kind of either or. One of your best friends was going to get married on the same night as the Champions League where United were playing. What would you do? Hide and watch, says Howder. Mate, is it a Champions League final? I ain't going to his bloody wedding. Can jog on. You know, imagine that. We wouldn't be friends. I miss a Champions League final with United for his wedding, and then 3 years later, he's telling me he's getting a divorce. I'd say, we're getting a divorce as well. We're not friends anymore. You absolute twat. No way am I going to jeopardise a Champions League final for Manchester United to go to a mate's wedding. Forget it. And I tell you what, if they said to me, I'm disappointed, I'd say, well, we're not mates anyway, because the fact that you think the fact that you would put me in this position disappoints me. I'd flip it. The fact that you think you can ask me to come to your wedding on the night of a Man United Champions League final shows me we're not actually friends. You can jog on. We're not doing it. And I'm disgusted. Oh, don't look at me with your sad puppy eyes. I'm disgusted you would put me in that position with your guilt trip. You don't even bloody like her anyway. What about Krakow and that stag do? Oh, you didn't like her then, did you? With your bloody three-way. I mean, I've just had a hypothetical conversation there that never happened. But my point is, I'm not doing it. Not doing it. Howdy, you've just done a really good chat there, because we're talking about a hypothetical friend scenario that never is going to happen, and I've still lost it. But no. I mean, look, if you've read my book, Football According to Goldbridge, there's actually a true story in that about my brother's wedding and the Manchester Derby. And I didn't want to go to his wedding. I wanted to watch the Manchester Derby. And a lot of people said I was in the wrong, and they are still married, to be fair, so, you know, I'll give them that. But I wasn't best man. I wasn't doing a speech. I was literally just going to be sat in the congregation. There wasn't any, pictures with Goldbridge or anything like that. I really wasn't needed at the church. And I said to him, I'll be there for the reception. No, that wasn't good enough. I want you there. And I was like, so when you're getting married to the love of your life, there's going to be a moment in the church where you're going to turn round and make eye contact with me, and that's going to complete it, is it? Shut up. Anyway, I did go. I did go to the wedding. Anyway, and the bride was about half an hour late, so I could have watched the match anyway. Wouldn't let me. Vicar wouldn't let me have the phone on. I said, what if I mute it? No. I said, is it because it's a dodgy stream? He said, no, it's because it's a church. I still had it on. He said, what's that thing in your ear? I said, I'm deaf. He said, what? I said, don't try that joke on me. He said, I didn't know you could get black ones in your ear. I said, you can get all sorts of colour hearing aids these days. They're not just whatever colour they're not just see-through. He said, why is it making noise? I said, it's reverb from you. If you shut up, we won't be able to hear anything. Fabrizio Romano and Gary Neville always coming on adverts, says Brands. Is it Marriott Bonvoy by any chance? Lovely hotels. I just realised that was probably the best 2 minutes of the show. Thank you very much to Howder. Well done. I'm sure that's going to be on TikTok. But I'm sure a lot of people will relate to it, and that's why these watch-alongs are so good. It's 0-0. It's 1-1 at half-time. It is half-time now. Fantastic game of football. The intensity has been absolutely brilliant. I feel like Newcastle are a little bit fortunate, but fair play. They've rode their luck, and you have to do that away from home. Villa have hit the post, they've hit the bar, and it's 1-1. But look, statistically, it's one of those games again, isn't it? Where if you hadn't watched it, you'd go, it's a very equal game. Possession, shots on target, corners. It's very, very equal. But actually, I think Villa deserve to be winning. So, I mean, I'm not big on stats. I'm really not. I'm big on the eye test. So, yeah. But Villa have got the subs. They've got to win. As I said, if you look at the league table at the moment, this is how it looks. It's not over for Villa if they draw. But if you want top 5, these are the sort of games you've got to win. whether it's a deflection or not, which to be fair, the first goal was, they've got to win this game because they've got to give themselves as much chance as possible. They're going to the Etihad on Tuesday. Don't forget, we're sponsored by Manscaped as well. Trim the grass to make the yard look bigger. You can get 20% off. Precision engineering for your family jewels, and they've got the whole range of facial hair trimmers, all of that, trusted by millions of men worldwide. You get free delivery and 20% off with the code FOOTY. Scan the QR code or go through the link in the description. Arslan says, maybe you could do the best Premier League 11 at half-time. Mate, listen to what I said before. That is not something I can do in 10 minutes. Even if I started doing it now with you lot, we wouldn't get it done in an hour. There's too much debate. It's a great question, and I think it's a great video, but there's got to be research around that. You know, you can't go Goldbridge's best Premier League 11 based on a 10-minute chat on YouTube. I can't. I'd have to really, look into that, because you've got to research that. You've got to look at what they did, how many games they played, what they won. And to a certain extent, it depends what they've done. I look at that season from Cristiano Ronaldo in 2008, and I just think it was an incredible season from the wing to score that many goals, and he won the Ballon d'Or. Here's a question for you. How many players, if you can get this, I'll give you a shout out. How many players won the Ballon d'Or playing in the Premier League? You'd be surprised. Well, Banana Man's got it, but tell me the players. A lot of people saying 2. You're wrong. Now a lot of people are saying 3. You're right. The 3 players are, obviously, Cristiano Ronaldo. I gave you that one. Rodri, recently. And Michael Owen. Michael Owen won it with Liverpool, and I presume it was probably 02, was it? Or 01, when Liverpool won the Europa League, or the UEFA Cup, the Carabao Cup, or whatever it was called then, and the FA Cup. So Owen, Ronaldo, and Rodri. It's a very good quiz question, that. And it is Easter, so if you're at any boring family events, which I'm sure you will be, and you fancy a bit of a conversation with your mother-in-law, just say, hey, name me the 3 players who won a Ballon d'Or whilst playing in the Premier League. Guarantee she'll say Thierry Henry. Just say, forget it. Your football knowledge is shit. To be fair, I did think Henry when I was asked it, but I didn't say it because I thought, you know what, I would have remembered that. But I remember Michael Owen winning it. Obviously, I remember Rodri winning it, and I know Ronaldo won it. So I think I'd get that. Mike Royce with the super chat, very generous. He says, me and my brother watched the FA Cup final on my phone during our cousin's wedding last year. Found out afterwards there were more people doing the same, so didn't feel as bad. I think it happens a lot, mate, in the modern game. Especially for like Euros and World Cups. I mean, I don't know whether it's understandable or not. I never blame the woman. I always blame the man. And people say it's not just men and women who get married. I understand that, but honestly, I've only ever been to a wedding of a man and a woman. I'm more than happy to go to other types of weddings, but I've only ever been to those weddings, so I can only talk about those. And you can only talk about experience. I can't talk about Pele. I didn't watch him play. So I can't talk about same-sex marriages or whatever because I've never been to one. So when I have been to weddings, and that's fine in 2025, you can't be criminalised for that. You can only talk about what you know. I'm taking on board that there are other types of weddings, but I've only been to man and woman weddings. And when they clash with football, I never blame the woman. They're not football fans predominantly. But it's always the man, it's always the mate, it's always the family member. And they know that there's a lot of people in my friendship group and family who like football, and at no point have they ever thought this is going to clash with a football match. Because they think, incorrectly, that people will go, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that this is a big game for England. It doesn't matter that this is a big game for Manchester United because it's my wedding day. When the truth is, you've got it completely wrong. You're thinking too big. You're thinking, oh, they'll choose me over England and Manchester United. I probably won't choose you over Denmark and Brighton. If I'm being honest, if Brighton are playing against Fulham, I might still want to watch that. I watched the Champions League final at my own engagement, says Arslan. Worst game I ever missed. I've never really missed a Man United game that matters. I haven't. It just wouldn't happen. Not willingly. I mean, it might happen because of illness or something like that. You can't do anything about that. But the worst one I missed, I'm just looking at the penalty claim. Nah, I think Watkins makes too much of it. The worst game I ever missed, and I wouldn't say it bothers me now, but it did bother me for a bit, because I used to be really into England. I missed England against Germany when we battered them in Germany. And that was a big game at the time because Germany had always been our nemesis. So to go over there and batter them, and I didn't watch it live. So I went to a pop concert. I went to watch U2. Thank you very much for that. Will you attend my wedding, says Cayman. Look, I do like a good wedding. I'm not knocking weddings. I think weddings are... I've been to about 25 weddings in my life, and only one of them was boring. So I like weddings. You know, mostly people want to be there. Mostly, vast majority of people like each other. There's a big reason to be there, to be in a good mood. I do like a good wedding. I missed the Man United versus Liverpool game as I took my daughter to see Sooty in Torquay, and he got me with the water pistol, says Chris Plowman. Sooty. I used to watch that. I always liked Sweep. I don't know anyone who can afford to get married anymore, says Jack. I haven't been to a wedding, actually, in a long time. People don't seem to get married now. Like, there's loads of people I know who are in relationships who should be getting married. Like, they're in their late 20s, early 30s, and they're not. People just don't seem to do it anymore. Is it financial? What's thoughts on the new Minecraft update? Not for me. Do you think Wirtz can fill the Kevin De Bruyne shoes? I saw that Gibbs White was being linked to Man City. I mean, look, he's got championship experience, because let's hope that's where Man City will be next year. Podcast return should be back, although it is a bank holiday, should be back this week. Have you ever been to a dog's wedding, says Michael? There's an answer to that. I presume we're talking about the pet and not just... Yeah, okay. No, I've never been to anything like that. Are you going to watch the NBA playoffs, says Danielius? No. Who do you think wins the Ballon d'Or this season? Salah or Rafinha? Love the watch-alongs. I was here on Thursday and your reactions were immense, says ODG Loves Football. Thank you very much for your super chat. Look, I think, rightly or wrongly, the way football works is it's very... what's the word? Focused on the now. There's a better word than that. And therefore, I think Rafinha will win it. Because Barcelona actually haven't won the league yet, but will. And they're still in the Champions. I think what you do in the Champions League really matters. So I think it will be Rafinha, yeah. Recency bias, yeah. And reactionary, yes, Tristan. But good question. I think it will be Rafinha. Look, if we're being honest, Liverpool have had a really good season, but they're not going to get the credit for it because winning the Premier League for them is amazing, but people are sort of bored with it because everyone's known they were going to win the Premier League for ages. And I guarantee if you speak to Salah about Salah now, people are just like, well, he's not that good because there's nothing really happening with him in Liverpool. But he's had a very good season. But it'll go Rafinha, I reckon, yeah. Yeah, I agree with CM Funk. Football is very much about what you've done lately. Yeah, look, you know, you think about, here's an example. So, I think it was one of the PSG games, it must have been the Villa Park game, Rashford played well. So on Wednesday, on social media, a lot of the United fans that love Rashford were going, Amrim's an idiot, you know, Team Rashford. Because we'd lost to Newcastle, Rashford played well for Villa, and everyone's going on about Rashford. But on Friday morning, none of them are talking about Rashford because Man United had won. So it's always about what you've done lately, isn't it? You know, if Rashford comes on and scores a hat-trick and wins this game, it'll be, oh, Man United made a mistake. Man United made a mistake. But if Man United beat Bilbao and get to the final, no one will talk about it. So football does flip-flop around themes, and who's to blame for that? I don't know. But, you know, I think football should be, when you're handing out awards for Player of the Year and everything, it shouldn't be based on the last 2 months of the season, but so many times I think it is. I mean, I know ex-players who vote in the Player of the Year award, and I've asked them this a few times, I'm not going to name any names, and they're like, yeah, you get asked about it, and it's not like you sit there and go online and do a little bit of searching and anything like that. You just think, who's the best player at the moment? And, you know, that's why Ruben Diaz used to get into so many Premier League teams of the season, isn't it? Because people just can't be asked to think. So they go, well, he's a good player, plays for Man City, they're going to win the league, let's go Ruben Diaz. When actually, there might be a player who's played for Fulham who's been brilliant. Hi, Mark. Love your watch-alongs. Hope you're well, mate. Will you be doing a WrestleMania watch-along? Says Epic Game. No. It's too early in the morning for me. Maybe one day. I'm thinking about doing Royal Rumble next January. Uh, 1080p says, I'm an Arsenal fan, but I genuinely think you'd be great as a telly pundit. If they offered me the right role in the right environment, I'd give it a go. I'm not worried about it, but obviously I don't think it will happen. I think it would be very, very interesting, but because you're going into the lion's den in a certain extent, but I don't expect it to happen. If you were in World War II, what role would you have wanted? David, I've never been asked that question in my life, and I've been doing this for a long time. If I was in World War II, what role would I have wanted? I think, seriously, it's not a game of Call of Duty. I bet it was absolutely terrifying for everybody involved, whether you're a fighter pilot or on the ground or on a boat or anything else like that. So I'm not going to even, disrespect it by saying, oh, I'd like to be this, that, and the other. But I think I would have liked to have been. I'd like to be. I think if you're a fighter pilot or a pilot, I think that would have been. At least you're in control of your own destiny to a certain extent. But I don't like flying though, so that might have been a problem. Would you be a conscientious objector? Absolutely not, Cole. Not in that war. What's the best Lego? Imagine an Old Trafford one. There is one, Rohan. I've got it. You've just imagined a reality. Right, we're going ready for the second half here. Such an important second half for Aston Villa. They need to win. A draw really isn't good enough. Players are out for the second half. Robbo says you'd swear too much for TV. Mate, I had my own show for 2 years on a Saturday night for an hour and a half, just me. I was the first person on national radio, on that national radio station, to present my own show on my own. And I never swore once. So I don't swear. I can control it. I just can't control it on this because I don't need to. But if I know I've got to not do it, I won't do it. What was your thoughts on Keane walking out on Ireland before the World Cup? Says Sean. I backed Keane. I think that I get why some Irish fans would be unhappy with it, but I think the facilities were crap. And And I don't think he wanted to walk out. I think it was a fallout with Mick McCarthy, wasn't it? And I think that I don't think his intentions were to walk out on Ireland. I think it was just a fallout, and he's a very stubborn person. Right, second half's up and running here. Fuhad says La Liga's also got 5 Champions League spots as well. I think that's quite interesting, isn't it? Because that could mean Betis in the Champions League with Anthony. They're not in the top 5 at the moment. It's Barcelona, Real Madrid, Athletic Madrid, Athletic Club, Villarreal. And they will probably be the top 5. But Betis, yeah, they're probably not going to do it, to be fair. They're in 6th. McTominay doing a Maradona, says Robert McCormack. It's an interesting title race, that. Napoli are 1-0 up at the moment. Puts them level with Inter with a game extra played. And they're 1-0 up against Monza. I mean, they've absolutely battered them, to be fair. Daniel says, if Arsenal win the Champions League, do you think does that change the Ballon d'Or? It might do. You know, it might do. I don't know. Who would you give it to from Arsenal? I mean, maybe Declan Rice? I don't know. Arsenal not in the Club World Cup. Neither are Barcelona or Liverpool, though. So, Rafinha, Salah. Surely the Club World Cup can't have a bearing on the Ballon d'Or. I think that's massively unfair. I mean, the qualification criteria for that is a joke. McGinn has got to pass that. Here's Rodgers again. Lovely ball into Watkins. He's very wide, though. Check the score of Union Berlin versus Stuttgart game. Union Berlin, 4-4 at half-time. Bloody hell. Have a bit of that. I bet it. I tell you what, 4-4 at half-time. What's the betting it finishes 4-4? How many times has that happened? I think the subs are going to be key here. So much quality. I mean, look, Newcastle have got Gordon on their bench. Arsenal, Aston Villa, Rashford, Ramsey, Onana, Malen, Digne. Bruno G fighting his way through here. Nearly put his foot in on Martinez there. Tell you what, Tillemans has had a really good running here. Morgan Rogers again gets past Tonali. It's such a threat. Nice ball into McGinn. Keeper did really well there, Pope. Really well. That's one of those balls where if you commit, it will be a penalty, and he didn't. Fair play. What teams do you want promoted? Would like to see Sunderland or Borough back, says Nick. I really don't think it makes any difference, Nick. They'll go straight back down. The only team I think might have a chance of staying up is Leeds. But even then, I don't think they will. I think promotion from the Championship has become a massive problem now. you know, 3 up, 3 down, 2 years in a row. I think it's a big problem. Really big. Another corner here to Villa. Tielemans. Oh, it's a good one. But Newcastle clear it. CM Funk says Tielemans has been the player of the season for Villa. LM25 says, I reckon Wolves will be fighting relegation next season. Not with that manager, I don't think they will be, mate. Corner again. No WrestleMania watch along. People asking me. No. What are the chances of Inter winning the Champions League? I mean, I don't think they've not got a chance. They're definitely the dark horses. Chelsea lost to Legia Warsaw at home this week, says Dream Winter. And Jamie M, thanks for the super chats, says, I just have this gut feeling that this Club World Cup will have something for the Ballon d'Or, like if Inter Miami somehow win it, we all know who thinks wins the Ballon d'Or, says Jamie M. It'd be a bloody joke, though. Off the line! Off the line. I tell you what, Villa, post, bar, and off the line. Fuhad says, it will be nice to see Arminia winning DFB Polka, a third division club playing Europa next season. There we go. Tielemans with the header. It wasn't going in. It wasn't going in. I thought it was going in, but I think that was just going to go wide. Tonali cleared it, but yeah, it wasn't quite going in. Inter Miami are not going to win the Club World Cup, by the way, anyway. Who do you want to win, Inter or Barcelona? I don't actually. You know what? I've got to be honest. Out of the final, I'm really looking forward to the Champions League. Who do you want to win it? I don't really care who wins between Arsenal and PSG or Barcelona and Inter. I don't have a favourite. I wanted Arsenal to beat Real Madrid because I wanted Real Madrid out because I like Real Madrid, but I think it just gets a bit boring with them winning it all the time. I don't care who wins it out of those 4 teams. You know, Man City and Liverpool aren't in it, so they're always the 2 I don't want to win it for obvious reasons. I don't massively want Arsenal to win it, but I won't be offended if they do. Lovely ball. He's offside. But I just hope all I want to see is 2 good games. And if Arsenal beat PSG and it's a cracking game, fair play. If Barcelona beat Inter over 2 games and it's good, fair play, brilliant final. I just want to see 2 good games. What stadium is the nicest food and drink, says Nick. I don't know, but I saw a picture last weekend of Man City. Their chips looked really good. Kyle says, Maresca out, championship level coach. There are a lot of Chelsea fans who are not happy, actually. I don't get it. We might have some Chelsea fans in the chat. I don't know what it is. They're not happy with the ownership. They're not happy with the manager. I think sometimes you've got to live it to understand it. Apparently the Korean hot wings at Spurs are great, says Theo. Ruhan says, Morgan Rogers is class. How much is he worth? The brilliance of Morgan Rogers is his ability to get the ball and take people on in the midfield. And it just, you know, in the modern game, so many teams are set up structurally to go and, you know, have 2 banks and, you know, make it hard to play through. But if you've got a player that doesn't need to pass, he can run at you. It's a system breaker. Who do you think is going to win the Champions League? I'd say probably Barcelona at the moment. But what I will say is that Dortmund game, brilliant. The one in Dortmund, they really exploited the back 4. Good ball to Maatsen here. And then a bad pass. They've got to be careful. Good tackle. Really good tackle. Tielemans into Rogers. Another good block. Newcastle defending well. Villa need this goal. What do you think is the best stadium in the Premier League at the moment? I mean, for years it would have been... I mean, Old Trafford's the biggest, but it's not the best. I don't like the Emirates. I preferred Highbury. I don't like Anfield because it's Liverpool, but to be fair, at least it's traditional and modernised. I don't like the Etihad. Spurs is probably the most modern. I like Villa Park. I love Goodison for its heritage, but it's about to go. Newcastle's a fantastic stadium, yeah. I like Newcastle, Villa and Anfield because they're heritage grounds that have modernised. I think the best modern stadium that's been built in the last 20 years is it's going to be Spurs, isn't it, really? I got to be honest, I do like Stamford Bridge. I've always liked it. It amazes me. I mean, I don't agree with Man United knocking Old Trafford down. It should be redeveloped. But Chelsea, I like Stamford Bridge, but they should be moving. Like, if you've ever been to Stamford Bridge, first time I went there, I couldn't believe it. It's like, it's so compact. Like, it's surrounded on all sides. It's really compact. It doesn't do it justice on the telly. Just what it's like. You know, like some grounds, they'll do a lot of let's show you what it's like around the ground. In fact, I don't think they're doing that enough. I think that's really poor on the part of the TV stations, really, because I don't think you get a grasp of where some of these grounds are. And if you're not UK based and you've never been there, you know, it's nice to know what's around it. Stamford Bridge, very compact. I like it, but I really have thought for years Chelsea could do bigger. Look at the success they've had. And they're in London. We're in London, aren't we? They could definitely have bigger stadiums. Matthew Lund says there's no connection between us, Maresca and the owner. Blames the fans in the press. Transfer policy is horrible. Tickets are a disgrace. Team has no leader. Matthew, as a non-Chelsea fan, I think you've just explained it to me, and I respect it. It's your club. Got no problem with that at all. I just think sometimes from the outside looking in, you're not really aware of it, and I can't argue with that. So thank you very much for sharing that. Is he right, Chelsea fans? How has Bruno Guimaraes not been booked? It's incredible. He's made 4 fouls and he's not been booked. He's made double the amount of fouls. He's not been booked, look. I feel like this referee's got a Newcastle shirt on. Still half an hour to go. Peter Gaskin says Stamford Bridge has come a long way since it was a car park. Again, that's another section in my book because it's absolutely true. When I were lads and used to watch highlights of Chelsea, people literally you could not imagine this. People parked their car behind the goal, so you'd be watching Chelsea highlights on Match of the Day, and there was cars parked behind the goal. It was crazy. I mean, Chelsea were shit when I was growing up. I mean, they got beat, didn't they? Didn't Forest beat them 7-0 or something at the City Ground? Yeah, if you search Chelsea cars behind the goal on Google and look at images. McGinn! Great save, Pope. He's having a good game. Rodgers should have had a shot. Straight at Pope. Yeah, it's mad. It's absolutely mad. Look at Google Chelsea cars behind the goal. It's madness. I think it's because they had like a greyhound track or something behind it. Everyone around Chelsea needs to calm down. Just have some patience. Nothing will change overnight, says Rub. You know what Chelsea got to do this summer? I saw you were getting linked to Gyökeres. We mentioned it on the United Stand this morning. You've got to get a striker. You've got to get a really good striker. I'm not sure Liam Delap's it, but I think he'd be better than Jackson. But, yeah. And they were a top league team when people were parking their cars behind the goal. Do you think Everton will win a trophy, says Vivid? I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say they won't, because look at how shit Man City were and then money came in. If Everton got the right ownerships. Thanks everyone who's getting involved, by the way. Please do subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. We're only 100 away from 10,000 live viewers. If you haven't subscribed, please do, bottom right-hand corner. Apparently, 40% of people who watch That's Football aren't a subscriber. So if you are one of those people, please click and subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. We're closing in on 320,000, 1.32 million subscribers, but 320,000, obviously. Get involved. Daily content on here. Watch-alongs, lots of them. Our next one on here is Monday night. It's all about the top 5 race again. It's Spurs against Forest. And then Tuesday night, it's Man City against Villa. But of course, that game's bigger for Villa if they can win here. If they don't win here, then it's going to be very difficult to get Champions League football. And they'd really have to beat City. Whereas I think if they win here, a draw might not be the end of the world. But to give themselves that leeway, you've got to be looking at maybe subs here now. He's got to book him now. There we go. Finally. Finally. Foul 5 and he gets booked. Is Hertzler at Brighton at risk, says Aaron. Look, I don't take any joy in what I'm about to say, but we are here to observe, and I'm sure many of you think Ange is going to get the sack. What time's the F1 tomorrow? Someone says Lando's just gone into the wall. He's out of Q3. Anthony Gordon's coming on. Tom Lee says, can't understand why the job Pereira has done at Wolves is not getting the media coverage it deserves. 4 wins in a row. It's just not fashionable, is it? I don't agree with it, but it's just not fashionable. Maatsen, lovely ball. He's got to score. What a goal! 2-1 Villa. Well-timed pass by Watkins. Lovely finish by Maatsen. That is Wally Watkins. Wally Watkins. That's Watkins back to his best, because he wasn't just about goals last season. He was also about assists. The way to pass there, I tell you what, you never see that at United. That he would have been completely ignored overlapping like that. But the way to pass from Watkins there makes it all about Maatsen and the finish. Great goal. And lovely build-up play. I think Watkins is back to his best here. He really has had a bit of an off season, but a goal and an assist for Watkins. He's at the woodwork twice as well. 25 minutes. This would be a big win for Villa if they can hold out. Daniel Pollard says, are you going to do a watch-along for the final day of the EFL season on the 3rd of May with your Charlton connection? I might do, Daniel. That's not a bad idea. Be nice to get the box again. A bit of breaking news here from Captain Deadpool. He says, if Newcastle drop points here, they can't mathematically win the league anymore. It's a sad day for the Geordies. You got me thinking about stuff now. That's how it looks now. Villa in 6th place, 1 point behind Man City and level with Forest, who play on Monday. So a very, very big win for Villa if they get it. Lovely goal, solid player, says Bug. You've just got me thinking about something now. I presume United are mathematically safe. No, we're not. There's still 6 games to go, which means 18 points. We're 1 point away from being mathematically safe. Ipswich are 17 points behind us. I shouldn't do this as a United fan, but let me just give you a bit of trivia. We were doing earlier, who were the 3 Ballon d'Or winners who played in the Premier League when they won it. This is an interesting one. Man United's Premier League history is obviously rich. We've been in it since inception. So, what? 30 years, 30 odd years. Our worst ever Premier League points total was in the year that Ollie got sacked and Rangnick came in. We got 58 points. This season, so our worst ever Premier League points total was 58, and that was shocking. This season, we've got 38, and there's only 18 to play for. So if we won every game we've got left, we'd be 2 points shy of our worst ever score. But we're not going to win our last 6 anyway. So Man United are going to smash the record for their worst ever Premier League points total, which is embarrassing. I mean, the Europa League is the biggest plaster in the world. Can Newcastle get back into this? They got back from 1-0 down before. I think Villa have deserved it, but there is still time. Isaac's been kept very quiet. Interestingly, not really many substitutions going on so far. Obviously, Anthony Gordon came on, but Villa haven't made a sub yet. So Emery trusting the players. I think Emery's a fantastic coach, but the subs, I don't really understand why he got criticised for the subs. He got them wrong, but I've played the game, and sometimes you make subs with the best intentions and they change the game. Sometimes you make subs and they don't work. Rashford and McGinn off against PSG didn't work, but tonight he seems to be. Maybe that's something that he noticed and he doesn't want to do that tonight. I thoroughly enjoyed this watch-along, by the way. This is why I love doing these. Brilliant game of football. Brilliant football chat, but also interspersed with a bit of different chat, like people shouldn't book their wedding when there's a big match on. That was a good chat. Harvey Barnes into the box. He's got 1 assist, and that's blocked. Do you think Isak's going to leave? I don't see how he leaves if they get Champions League football, which I think they will. I just don't see how he leaves. Unless he says, I want to leave, and somebody pays the price. In which case, maybe he will leave. But Newcastle won't need to sell him. So I don't think he will. Villa have got such good... You know what as well? I've just realised with Emery, the reason he's probably not making subs is he's probably thinking about Tuesday, which is a quick turnaround as well. Clever guy, Emery. He's probably thinking Tuesday, we're playing Man City. I want to give these subs a game off, if I can. What's for tea tonight? Next season's going to be highly competitive, says Fahad. I hope so. I hope so. I mean, my only issue with the Premier League this year is I think Arsenal should have pushed Liverpool closer. It's such a shame that Liverpool and Arsenal play each other in May. I really think that look, even if Arsenal were like only 5 points behind, you'd still say Liverpool are favourites, but there's a little bit of ooh. But I think it's a shame this year. I'd like it to be a bit closer next year. Haas said, would you watch a game on your phone during a funeral? You see, I think funerals are dodgy weddings are planned. Funerals aren't. So if somebody has a funeral that you care about on the day of a football match, there is no negotiating. Like, that is going to be reputationally damaging. You can't dig your feet in. If one of your mates gets married on the day of an important match and you say, I'm not coming, I'll come to the reception, and then they get divorced, you can go, I was right. But on a funeral, if you don't turn up because you're watching a football match, you can't say in 5 years I was right. They've come back like Jesus. Resurrection, that's not going to happen. So you've got to go to the funeral. Unless it's a relative that you don't really get on with, or a peripheral friend, you've just got to go. I'm not on side with that. Substitution here. Asensio and McGinn are coming off. Ramsey and Onana are coming on. Positive. Ozzy says you very rarely get a funeral on a Saturday or a Sunday. Very true. Why is that? Why don't they work weekends? I feel like I'm missing something obvious there. Like sometimes when you ask a question and you're like, I don't get that. Is it just they don't want to work weekends, maybe? Gap in the market there. If you're looking to start your own funeral director business, maybe open on the weekend. Look, if John Lewis can be 24/7, it's not 24/7. Sundays are for normal services, yes. Saturday's not, though. Oh, goal! Tielemans, I've shouted this player out for a long time. He's been absolutely superb for Aston Villa for a long time, and he's probably just put this game to bed. 3-1. Villa have been very, very good today. Tielemans kills the game off, and he's been so good. So good. Especially over the last 2 months. Let's have a look at this. Aaron Ramsey, instant impact. I don't think he scored. I think it's an OG. I think it's Dan Burn. But Ramsey, instant impact. Yeah, it's off Dan Burn, that. It's an OG. But lovely play by Jacob Ramsey. Yeah, Tielemans doesn't get anything on it. It goes off Dan Burn's foot into the bottom corner. But you know what? That's football. And that's football. Subscribe and get involved. But that is football, isn't it? That's what happens. Sometimes you make substitutions with good intentions. You take Rashford and McGinn off against PSG. It doesn't work. Sometimes you bring Jacob Ramsey on. He runs at the fullback. He puts a cross in and you score the third goal and kill a very important game. That's the life of a manager. You're always doing it for a reason. It doesn't always work. But, Newcastle have scored 9 goals. Oh, my God. What a save by Pope. What a save by Pope. That's a world-class save, that is. Oh, what a goal. What a goal. And I tell you what, that is absolutely fantastic. That's a proper goal by Onana. But let's just say this. Emery this week has had a bit of criticism because he took Rashford and McGinn off against PSG. Well, here, in a must-win game for Aston Villa to get back in the Champions League, they're 2-1. They're facing a potentially hairy last 20 minutes. He brings Ramsey and Onana on. Ramsey gets an assist. Onana gets the goal. 4-1. That's football. That's great management. And that's when subs work. Brilliant. Brilliant, brilliant subs by Emery. Assist and a goal, and that's game over. And it's interesting, isn't it? Because Newcastle have been superb in the last 2 games. They scored 9 goals in their last 2 Premier League games. But today, Villa have absolutely slaughtered them. And we said at half-time, the subs would be interesting because Villa have got a better bench. And I think this is something that Newcastle need to solve if they're going to be in the Champions League. When they've got their first 11 out, they're a good side. But 3 games in 6 days, they haven't got the squad. Aston Villa have. And that's been the difference today. Brilliant. (4-1). Boost your goal difference. Actually, Villa's goal difference is crap. Let's have a look at the... well, there it is. So, Aston Villa, 57 points, but where they're going to really struggle, no matter what happens, they are really down on goal difference. +6, but Forest are 13, Chelsea are 17, Man City are 22, and Newcastle are 18. So Villa are the weakest when it comes to goal difference. Triple substitution here for Aston Villa, but it's going to be too little, too late. Still a good week for Newcastle, though. 3 games, 6 points. They're firmly in the top 5 now. And I think their next game is easy, isn't it? I can't remember who they got. Next weekend, I think they're at home to... Who they got? Yeah, Ipswich at home next week. They'll win that. Would you take Seb to the Minecraft movie? He's been. I think he went on Thursday, mate. He's already been. Are you going to do Newcastle in Crisis? I don't think we're going to get many videos in Crisis now. I think they pretty much lived between October and February. I don't think we need any of those now. Practical says, you had an advert interrupting your goal reaction. I'm fuming. I'm sure our editor will go back and clip it. Villa are rampant here. Absolutely rampant. They could be going for more. It's been a really good game as well. This race for top 5 is really interesting. And I know some people find that a little bit boring, of the race for top 5. But when you've seen what the Champions League is like, the prize is big. Really big. Here's Ollie Watkins. I mean, Nick Pope's been their man of the match as well. They're losing 4-1, and he's made some brilliant saves. I mean, I know it didn't really count because he made a brilliant save from Rodgers, and then Onana scored straight after from the same play, but it was a superb save. Yeah, Newcastle not really been at the races today, have they? Not really. I did expect I expected it to be a little bit closer, but I think, you know what, for Villa, fair play. Sometimes you play Champions League games, weekend game, you're a little bit off. But you know what it is? I think they've tasted Champions League football, and they want it. You know, they want it again. And to do it, they had to win here today. And I think the game at the Etihad on Tuesday is going to be very interesting when you look at the fact that Villa and Man City are only separated by a point. Could Villa go to Man City and win? You'd probably say no, but Man City aren't the team they were. Maybe they could. Man of the match. Well, as I said, I think if Newcastle's man of the match has to be the goalkeeper. Aston Villa's man of the match, well, there's a few. I think Ollie Watkins with a goal and assist is a big shout. But, sorry, yeah, Ollie Watkins with the goal and assist. But I do think Tielemans has been brilliant again. I think Morgan Rogers has had a good game. There's been a few. McGinn's been good. Matsson's goal was fantastic. I think there's been a few candidates, to be fair, for Villa tonight. But I'm happy they've won. That's the way I sort of watch football. I don't have anything against Newcastle, but I just think from a top 5 race point of view, you look at how condensed that is now. You've got Chelsea on 54 and you've got Newcastle on 59. And if Chelsea win tomorrow, 7th to 3rd will be 2 points. Oh, my God. So, 6th to 3rd is 2 points. So that race is just absolutely fantastic. And that's why I wanted Villa to win. And I'm looking forward to Villa Man City on Tuesday. And obviously Forest Spurs on Monday. So a couple of good watch-alongs to come. Newcastle will be all right, though. They're in the box seat and they've got good fixtures. I was looking at this. Do you think he'll start Rashford against Man City? I think he's got so many options. You know, Watkins playing well, though, gives you more. I don't think Rashford's a striker. I think Rashford needs to play from the wing. So, he might be coming off now for the last few minutes. Yeah, Rashford, Barkley and Mallon coming on. Yeah, Newcastle's last few games look like this. You've got Ipswich next week at home. Brighton away, easy. Chelsea at home will be a big game. Arsenal away, I don't think Arsenal will really care about that. And then Everton at home. So I can see Newcastle winning 4 more games. And I think, in fairness, 70 points will get you top 4. So I think Newcastle should be fine. You'd be really unlucky. Sorry, top 5. You'd be very unlucky to get 70 points and not get top 5. And they've got Ipswich at home, Brighton away, Everton away. That's 9 points. Maybe a point at Arsenal, 10 points, and then they probably beat Chelsea. So I think Newcastle will cruise top 5, really. Sick Rich says Newcastle travelling to Brighton away isn't easy. Oh, Brighton are terrible though, mate. Brighton are absolutely terrible. They're not the team people think that. Brighton aren't the team they should be. Brighton have got a really good squad, but they're really, really poor. Mr. Skiller says, I actually think 66 points will get top 5 and Newcastle will get above that. No worries. Although Southampton drew at West Ham today. I mean, I don't think West Ham fans need to worry about Potter. It's a very similar scenario to Amrim, really. When you bring someone like Potter in, he's had no pre-season, he's had no transfer window. It doesn't really start until next season, does it, for Potter? Do you think Arsenal will miss out on second place? No. I mean, they've got... What they got? Ipswich away tomorrow, I'd expect them to win, which gives them 66. Then they've got Crystal Palace at home a few days before Palace play a semi-final in the FA Cup, so I think they'll win that. Gives them 69. What a number. So, no, Arsenal will get second place. No worries. No worries about that. I forget there's still FA Cup. Won't it be crazy if Forest beat City in the finals between Palace and Villa? Says Arbamba. I can see Man City finishing the season strong and rescuing like a bit of something by winning the FA Cup and obviously getting top 5. If Man City get to the final, that's 3 FA Cup finals in a row. Culture Spot says, in fairness, the Europa League is the right level for Forest. Well, that might be the case, mate, but all I'm saying is they've been in the top. Lovely ball into Mallon. Pope's there. They've been in the top 5. Sorry, they've been in the top 3 since, was it September, October? So it would be harsh. Look how good Villa are, yet Liverpool won a week Premier League, says Easy. Liverpool have been brilliant this year. It's just the fact that everyone's known that they were going to win it for a long time. And you sometimes don't get the credit when the league has been over for a long time, whether that's fair or not. Rohan says, compared to United, Villa moved the ball so quickly. Yeah, this is why Amram needs better players. Start, bench, sell, says James Robert. Howe, Emery, Arteta. Ooh, that's a tough three, that. I'll sell Howe. I'll sell Howe. You know, the difficult thing about Emery is it didn't go great at PSG and it didn't go great at Arsenal. So you can't really use the argument if he had what Arteta's got, because he did. I think you've still got to put Arteta ahead of Emery. I love Emery, but I still think you've got to put Arteta ahead of him, because Emery did struggle at Arsenal and it didn't go great at PSG. So, yeah, it's a tough one, though. I think I'd start Arteta, I'd bench Emery, and I'd sell Howe. I don't know about Forest. Do you think they'll get Champions League, says Daniel? I think Forest need to win on Monday. I think they've got to go to Spurs and win, because their running is... they've got to start winning games like people are doing that now. Got Spurs away, Brentford at home, Palace away, Leicester at home, West Ham away, Chelsea at home. They need to go and win 4 games, really. Now, can Villa get some credit? Quarter-final, Champions League, semis of the FA Cup, and pushing for top 5. It's a crazy good season. Emery is a genius, says Ryan. And I think the brilliant thing about Aston Villa Football Club is that, like, unlike other clubs, they actually realised that the January transfer window is half-time in a race, and they did something about it. And credit to them for that, because a lot of clubs don't do that. They don't realise that if you go and do some business in January, it can revitalise your season. They've won 5 games in a row now. Hi, Mark. Just want your thoughts on VAR this season. In my opinion, I think VAR has been the worst it's been. So much controversy and stupid decisions, says Greenfire. Yeah, I think there is just no accountability with the PGMOL or VAR. What I said would happen has happened. We've become so indoctrinated into its inefficiency and incompetence that we're just used to it now. Nothing ever happens when they do bad things. I mean, Michael Oliver has been put forward for the Club World Cup as one of the best officials in England when he's one of the worst. It's here to stay, isn't it? There is no accountability. There is no independent regulation. I've always said there are solutions. I don't think you should moan without solutions. And I think that the VAR operators and the referees should be a separate organisation. What we have at the moment is referees who are refereeing one game, and then tomorrow they're sat in the VAR room. And that leads to bias. That leads to mates rates. It's the Premier League. It's the premier football league in the world. It's one of the most watched sports in the world. There's a lot of money in it. And we have a completely and utterly inept officiating organisation. We could easily train up specialist VAR operators who don't communicate or have any relationship with the referees. And I guarantee you it would go up overnight. Because if they're not mates and they're not, mixing roles, it would be a lot better. But they won't do it. Newcastle pushing for a goal, but it's way, way too late. It's 4-1 here. Newcastle needs to build a squad. They can. I've seen it again today. They've had 3 games in 6 days and they don't have a squad. And they've run out of energy today. And Aston Villa have got a bench. Newcastle don't have a bench. And next season, they're going to have the same problem as last season, where they're going to be in the Champions League and they're going to be in the Premier League and they won't be able to do both. And they've got a really, really good first team. But when they get a couple of injuries to key players, they don't really have backups. And when there's a volume of games and people get tired, they don't really have backups. So I don't know what the financial situation is with Newcastle, but I'd look at Villa next season and say, all right, Rashford's probably going to go, Asensio's going to go, but they've got a good basis to have a squad next season. Newcastle need to have a squad. Thanks for your question anyway, Greenfire. Thanks for all your super chats tonight. I'm live on the United Stand at 8 o'clock. Yes, Saturday Night Live. 6 minutes added on here. Movie night for me tonight. Easter Sunday Eve. Here's Rashford. Run him, Rashi. Run him. Keep running. Keep running, Rashi. I got tackled. Yeah, looking forward to the FA Cup games next week. I think Man City are going to win the FA Cup. But look, Villa are having a great season. Man City on Tuesday, though, Premier League, another big game for Villa. But you've got to have a squad. Villa are intelligent in what they did in the January transfer window, because it was Disasi, Garcia, Rashford, Malen, Asensio. 5 players for Duran going. Very, very intelligent. You get 5 for 1. That fills your bench. It allows you to rotate. And it's worked brilliantly for them. And they've needed it. Good shot by Malen. They've needed to do it because look at, like, last weekend. Go back to the weekend before the PSG game, Premier League. Then PSG in France. Then Southampton away on the Saturday. Then PSG at Villa Park, then Newcastle today, then Man City on Tuesday, then FA Cup at the weekend. It is relentless, and you've got to have a squad to do that. 5 wins in a row for Villa in the Premier League as well. I mean, Newcastle had done that, and look at what it's done for them. Villa, 5 wins in a row, right back in amongst it. Good pace by Rashford, cut back. Ooh, good shot. Got an itch. Would you take Cunha or trust in Rashford? 100% Cunha. I don't think Rashford comes back to Man United. I don't think it's a good idea. I don't think he suits Man United's system either. He's a winger who can't track back, so he can't work in an Amrim system, and he's not a number 10, and he's not a number 9, so he just doesn't suit our system. Mark, you'll never guess what the Stuttgart story is. I mean, this is an on-running theme. So it was 4-4-4. It was it St. Union Berlin 4, Stuttgart 4 at half time, and I said, how many times have we seen those games? And I guarantee there won't be a goal in the second half. Fucking hell. I should have had a bet. Union Berlin 4, Stuttgart 4, half-time. Guess what the score is in the 90th minute? 4-4. Not one goal in the second half. That is a football thing. You've got to be a football fan to know that. That is a football thing. The amount of times that happens. Shitload of goals in the first half, and you think, what could this be? And then there's nothing in the second half. The amount of times that happens, that's crazy, that is. That is crazy. Yeah, so look at that top 5 race now. Villa smacking it. Newcastle very much in it. Man City winning today, in it. Forest still in the top 5. Chelsea play Fulham tomorrow. Chelsea sort of dropping off a little bit, actually. They need to win. Got a big game for Chelsea tomorrow. Got to win. Can't believe the televised game tomorrow, by the way. Chelsea-Fulham is the game to have on telly. Guess what they've put on? Ipswich-Arsenal. You know, Ipswich are relegated and Arsenal aren't going to win the league. I hate the way TV rights won't change games. Like, they pick the games in advance. I get that. But you can't... They surely should be able to just go a week ahead or 2 weeks ahead. We're changing the TV game. It doesn't matter. We already know the kickoff time. We're not asking you to change the kickoff time. Surely you can just change the game. Tex says it's because of the title race. But there is no title race. There's no bloody title race. The gap's 13 points. They need to be able to change the game because Fulham-Chelsea is a derby and the top 5 race is what it's all about. If Emery stays 5 years, do you think Villa win a cup? Well, 62% think Newcastle are closer to winning the league than Villa. I think Villa are closer to winning the league because they've got a squad. 19 consecutive wins at home for Villa. Mate, that is incredible. That is absolutely incredible. Well, 5 wins in a row. Amazing. That's the final whistle as well. Thoroughly enjoyable game. Really enjoyed it. Thanks everyone who spent it with us. That's what football's all about. Of course, we do the big games, the finals, the Champions League. But sometimes it's just a great game like that that's really enjoyable to watch. Really enjoyed it. Thank you, everybody. Apparently, the NFL changed their TV games based on what's going on. Great idea. Hi, Mark. If Man United win Euros, are we going to have 6 teams in the Champions League? Yes. Thank you, Carzoid. And why is Man United so focused on buying a striker when the midfield is dead, says Reap. I think they need a lot more than a striker, mate. I don't think they'll be able to get everything they need. There's a lot needed at United. I'm on the United stand in half an hour. If you want to join me, I'll push you over there. Thanks, everyone, for watching. We're back with watch-alongs on Monday night for Spurs and Forest and Tuesday night for Man City and Villa. That'll be a great game. We'll have some content up for you tomorrow as well. But I'm back live. United stand tonight at 8, and obviously we've got Man United Wolves at 2 o'clock tomorrow. Take care, everyone. Stay safe. Thanks for joining in. I really enjoyed it. See you in a bit.